Your sniffling, coughing, sneezing, and itching. The temperature by DPH, minimize the symptoms, maximize the relief, is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 in Montego Bay.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robian Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
Inflation rate has reached a 3-year low of 4.3%.
EPOC Chairman Keith Duncan defends his call for public sector workers to temper their expectations regarding upcoming wage negotiations.
We can manufacture the money. Approximately 36% to 45% of tax revenues is public sector compensation.
JLP rejects as lies and misinformation suggestion that trillions of dollars are unaccounted for. The claims have now been picked up by the international press.
It is unbecoming of the PNP and indeed its surrogates to use the traditional as well as social media space to mislead the Jamaican people.
54 people have been killed across the country in the first 2 weeks of December.
Most MPs in possession of the funds to carry out road repairs under the REACH program.
And in news from the rest of the world, Venezuela released about a fourth of people detained in post-election crackdown.
Canada's finance minister quits over Trump tariff dispute with Trudeau.
And in headline sports, Darren Sammy appointed as the head coach of the West Indies across all formats.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, Minister of Local Government and Community Development Desmond McKenzie will join us for a review of the ministry's work in
26, we ask, what are you preparing for Christmas dinner? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide 285-5693. You can also leave your TFM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, the Solid Waste Management Authority says it's actively working to clear garbage backlogs across the island this week. Executive Director of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, will join us.
And at 7, Junior Minister in the Ministry of Education in Trinidad and Tobago, Lisa Morris Julian and 2 of her children have died in a house fire. Lead editor for news gathering at The Guardian, Kejan Haynes, will join us.
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile Nationwide 90 FM, Nationwide Radio, JM.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Monday afternoon, Monday, December 16, 2024.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate has reached a 3-year low of 4.3% as at November. That's according to the latest information from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. This is down from 4.9% the month prior. This remains within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. The last time Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate was so low was June 2021. November's inflation rate was influenced mainly by changes in several divisions. Non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, restaurants, and accommodation services. The calendar year-to-date inflation rate as at November 2024 was 3.8%. The rate
Chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Keith Duncan, is defending his call for public sector workers to temper their expectations regarding upcoming wage negotiations. This is despite significant increases granted to the political directorate. He was speaking at what will be EPOC's last ever media briefing on Friday. Mr. Duncan is concerned that ballooning government expenditure on wages and salaries threatens to negatively impact other critical government spending. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
As 2024 comes to an end, the government must prepare for a second round of wage negotiations early in the new year. In this, Keith Duncan is calling on the public sector to temper their expectations. He acknowledged that this may be a big ask on the part of the government in light of triple-digit increases granted to the political directorate.
When if you look at the overall growth in public sector compensation, projecting for is like greater than $200 billion increase in a matter of in a number of years, 3 years, $200 billion increase. So overall public sector compensation has increased significantly. If you're talking about the political class and the increases that they got, that is a total of $1.8 billion of that $200 billion that is paid. So yes, fewer people, and they also would have not received the level of adjustment and increments that others would have received over the last 20 years or so. Their thing was almost frozen over the period.
Mr. Duncan says the increased wage burden, coupled with slowing growth and other uncertainties, could harm the government's ability to fulfill its other fiscal obligations.
Wages and salaries are already high and consuming approximately 45% of tax revenues, wages and salaries. 40% of total revenues, right? So 12.8% of GDP and 45% of tax revenues are wages and salaries to the public sector. So this is something that we really need to pay close attention to, and we really need to look at this to see how we're able to manage and control and set targets for ourselves here as a country going forward.
However, Mr. Duncan made it clear his comments were not an attempt to shield the government from criticism for the increase in salaries granted to the political class. He believes the current economic realities require all parties to come to the table with an understanding as to what the country can afford.
However, I'm not here to defend that. What I'm saying, as a collective, as a country, we need to look at our finances, and we need to understand where we are, and we need to be able to then to locate ourselves inside of what can Jamaica afford at a point in time. What can Jamaica afford? Because we can manufacture the money. Approximately 36% to 45% of tax revenues is public sector compensation. That's significant because that means that, as I said, you're crowding out other areas, you're crowding out capital expenditure, you're crowding out other areas.
EPOC is expected to be wound up effective today, Monday. It was established in 2013 to provide oversight of the government's economic reform program under the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Since the end of that program, EPOC has continued to ensure that the government remains in line with the country's fiscal rules. This role will now be undertaken by the Fiscal Commission. It's a body that Mr. Duncan will also chair. Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
Ruling Jamaica Labour Party JLP has strongly rejected claims accusing the government of misappropriating $1 trillion across various ministries. The claim stems from recent comments by the Jamaica Accountability Meter Portal, JAMP, raising concern about the tardiness in filing their annual appropriation accounts with the Auditor General. But JAMP's comments have been reported in the press to suggest trillions of dollars in government funds are missing. The claims have even reached the international press. But speaking on Monday, spokesperson for the JLP's Communication Task Force, Marlon Morgan, rejected the suggestion that it amounts to money going missing from the government's coffers. Mahiri Stewart reports.
According to Marlon Morgan, the allegations are mischievous. He says they are nothing but blatant lies being spread by members of the People's National Party and what he dubbed as surrogates in civil society.
The PNP and a few of their supporters in civil society who have been spreading misinformation are very much aware that what we have is a situation which was initially flagged in 2012-2013 financial year when the PNP was in office, where various expenditure on the part of the then government were not subjected to an external audit by the competent authority so to do, which is the Auditor General. These funds are not unaccounted for or missing. It is unbecoming of the PNP and indeed its surrogates to use the traditional as well as social media space to falsely suggest otherwise and, of course, mislead the Jamaican people.
He's reacting to a story carried in the Caribbean National Weekly under the headline, quote, "Outrageous. Reports find $3 trillion in unaccounted government spending in Jamaica," end quote. To clarify the situation, Mr. Morgan detailed the financial process followed by the government ministries. He says at the end of each financial year, ministries are required by law to prepare an appropriation account which outlines how the money was spent. The lack of an appropriation account does not mean the money is missing, nor does it mean funds are not accounted for through other. The government, led by Andrew Holness, is moving to address the long-standing problem that cuts across both PNP and JLP administrations of the past.
Ministries have been directed to build appropriations accounts so as to ensure that the Auditor General accounts and certify them in the shortest possible time. The Jamaica Labour Party recognizes and readily appreciates that protracted delays in the preparation and the certification accounts require immediate and timely action with what is required by law. We are moving to fix the long-standing problem.
Finance Minister Fayval Williams has similarly dismissed the suggestion of missing funds as far
financial from ministries go to the Ministry of Finance, AGD, the Auditor General Department. So it is not as if there is no reporting on the financial. What the Auditor General spoke to would be the appropriation account and annual financial report that go to the Auditor General.
Been killed across the country in the first 2 weeks of December. That's a from the Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF. Despite this, the JCF says the murders continue to trend down. Dana Davey reports.
According to murders across the island at November 30, up to December 4 reported, bringing the number to 1,114. However, the JCF says this is 238 fewer murders period in 2023. St. James continues to lead the country with the most murders in any police division, with 123 homicides. This is 6 homicides recorded in the parish for the similar period last year. St. James is followed by St. Andrews South with 116 murders. The Westmoreland Division recorded 96. Central and St. Andrew North all recorded increases. In Manchester, homicides are up by 16%. Central recorded 77 murders, an increase of 42% compared to the corresponding period last year. And St. Andrew North has seen a 20% increase, maintains its record of having the lowest number of murders reported, with 13. In the meantime, shootings have 72 as at December 14. Other major crimes such as robberies, rapes, and break-ins. Nationwide News.
Managing Director of King Alarm, John Azar, says systems exist to criminals. He was reacting to a newspaper report that the police confiscated device from 2 car thieves recently in St. Andrew. The device has the ability to disarm car trackers.
Devices like this have been around for a little while, and one thing we know is that the criminal element is not static in their thought process. They're constant as well. So yes, it is concerning that devices such as that have reached our shores and been utilized, but the good news is that there are still technologies out there to include trackers and that won't get into in too much detail, but definitely there are systems and mechanisms that car owners can utilize their assets despite the fact that technologies like this are being used by the criminal element.
Mr. Azar is warning car owners to ensure they take precautionary measures outside of trackers to decrease the likelihood of being victims of car theft.
Outside of technologies, we always say that good security begins with a mindset. So, basic things are things that we've all heard, but maybe we don't do every day. Don't leave valuables exposed on your car. If able, try and park your car in an area that may be well lit, maybe not. Just general good security thought processes, because the criminal element will always look where they see the path of least resistance. So therefore, taking steps just with a good security mindset will make it more difficult for the criminal element, and God's willing work to protect your asset as well.
John Azar, Managing Director of King Alarm.
You're listening to Nationwide News at 5. More news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
16 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 in Montego Bay.
The National Land Agency will distribute its systematic land registration program for residents of St. Elizabeth and Manchester from December 16 to 2024 at the Junction Guest House, Junction, St. Elizabeth. You will need your government-issued ID to collect your title. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Continuing the news, Minister with Responsibility for Works Robert Morgan says most members of Parliament are in possession of the funds to carry out road repairs under the REACH program. REACH is a $2 billion initiative focused on repairing roads that were damaged by the passage of Hurricane Beryl in July. It was announced in October. Minister Morgan says the National Works Agency is also carrying out road repair.
Well, a majority of our members of Parliament constituencies have received their REACH allocation for 2024 and are preparing now for their REACH allocation for 2025. They have also been, the National Works Agency has also been out across the island since the rains have abated doing some remedial work. And as you know, the Prime Minister did announce some emergency road rehabilitation to take place immediately, and we're starting a lot of that this week.
Minister Morgan listed some problem areas island-wide that are set to benefit from the program.
It will be significant. The reality of it is that the rains would have restricted our ability to do a lot of the work that we had the resources to do. Now that the rains have abated and we have gotten some more resources thanks to the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, we can now go out there and really make a big impact in areas. As persons have been complaining about areas in Kingston, areas to Negril Leg, as well as some of the main roads in Clarendon and some other parishes, places like Portmore and so on.
Robert Morgan, Minister with Responsibility for Works.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
The World in a Minute.
Roughly a fourth of the people detained in Venezuela during the civil unrest that followed the July presidential election have been granted prison release orders. Venezuela's Attorney General, Tarek William Saab, made the announcement in a statement posted on social media on Monday. He noted that 533 release measures were agreed upon by the judicial system following a review of cases linked to the unrest. It wasn't immediately clear how many of those orders have been executed. According to the Associated Press, President Nicolas Maduro ordered the review amid increasing pressure from the international community for the repression campaign his government unleashed after the election. This includes the arrests of more than 2,000 adults and minors. Venezuela's governing party, which controls all aspects of the government, tightened the crackdown on dissent after it and the opposition both claimed victory in the June 28 presidential elections. This prompted nationwide protests in which at least 24 people were reportedly killed. Human rights watchdog deaths.
Canada's finance minister has resigned from her post, citing disagreements with Prime Minister to respond to President-elect Donald Trump's threat of tariffs. Announced her resignation in a letter to Trudeau on Monday. Freeland said Canada needed to keep its fiscal powder dry to deal with the threat of sweeping tariffs from Trump. She said her resignation comes after Trudeau informed her last week that he no longer wanted her to be his government's top economic advisor. The decision also came hours before Freeland was due to provide an annual fiscal government update in Parliament. Trump has promised to impose a levy of 25% on imported Canadian goods, which economists have warned would significantly hurt Canada's economy. Referencing the tariffs, Freeland called them a threat that needs to be taken seriously.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate has reached a 3-year low of 4.3%.
EPOC chairman Keith Duncan defends his call for public sector workers to temper their expectations regarding upcoming wage negotiations.
JLP rejects as lies and misinformation suggestion that trillions of dollars are unaccounted for. The claims have now been picked up by the international press.
54 people have been killed across the country in the first 2 weeks of December.
I'm Robian Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
You can find the news at radiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
What is love? Love is why you do the best you can for your family. They may never see it, but they sure can taste it. When I see their smiles, there's no limit to how far I will go for the people I love. That's why I only put the best on my table. The best dressed chicken with no antibiotics ever. If anyone's going to add something to my best, can be called the best dressed chicken.
This is your moment.
Importers, clear customs, not your schedule. Download the J8 Customs Connect mobile app from the Google Play and Apple App Stores and enjoy the ease to calculate your customs duties, search for tariff codes, track and trace your shipments, pay your declarations, and so much more, all in a click, right at your fingertips. So save time, save money. Download the J8 Customs Connect mobile app today. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more information, visit j8customs.gov.jm. J8 Customs Connect mobile app, powered by the Jamaica Customs Agency. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Hi, I'm Loy Gale, inviting you to join me at the Oasis for 12 Days of Christmas, beginning December 16, 12:55 p.m. We'll share Christmas songs and remind ourselves of prophecies related to the birth of Christ. That's Oasis, 12 Days of Christmas, weekdays, beginning Monday, December 16, 12:55 p.m. Only on Nationwide, the new revolution in media.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Good afternoon. With your sports report, I am Alrix Raby. We tip things off with some netball. As Netball Jamaica opened the renovated Netball Chalet at Whitcomb Road in Kingston on the weekend. The facility was also renamed the Marva Bernard Netball Chalet to the surprise of the former president of Netball Jamaica.
It's a really huge surprise. It's a huge honor. And it's just overwhelming. You know the journey. This house is the home for the people who are doing the work in the fields. So if this is where they are to come and sleep and live, they must have comfortable beds, they must have clean new sheets, and they must be in a place where we would live ourselves. And that has what has been the driving force for me over the years and for the committee that has come back to join me to make this what it was before, HGTV ready, I like to say.
Marva Bernard. The Netball House was first offered to Bernard, the then Netball Jamaica president, in 2010 by the then Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Bruce Golding, to use as she sees fit to advance the sport in the country as well as on the world stage. Now to athletics, as a star-studded slate of athletes, including 3 Olympic champions, is headed to Boston for the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in 2025. Meet organizers announced that Paris Olympic 100 meters champions Noah Lyles and Julian Alfred, along with the 110 meters hurdles Olympic gold medalist, will headline the sprints and hurdles events at the February 2 indoor event in Boston, and looking to win his 4th straight meet title in the men's 60 meters. Alfred, on the other hand, will be making her debut, and the Paris Olympic champion has certainly a pro career. Earlier this year, Alfred won the world indoor title in the women's 60 meters. Start a storybook calendar year that saw the St. Lucian native win 100 meters gold and 100 meters title. Holloway will also return to Boston looking for a 4th straight victory at the event. Holloway has not only dominated the 60 meters hurdles at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in his career, but he's proven to be the most prolific indoor short hurdler in the world history. Not only does the in 60 meters hurdles, but Holloway has put down 8 of the fastest 9 times recorded in the event. Now to cricket, as Darren Sammy has been appointed as named their test head coach by Cricket West Indies today. The announcement was made by CWI Director Miles Bascom during the quarterly press conference held in St. Vincent. Sammy, a 2-time ICC Men's T20 World Cup winning captain, has been head coach of the West Indies white ball teams since May 2023. From April next year, he will assume the responsibility for the test side as well. Sammy will replace Andre Coley as the test head coach after the end of the West Indies' current World Test Championship cycle. Captain of the West Indies, Ravman Powell, blames one loss against Bangladesh in the first T20 International at Stadium in St. Vincent and the Grenadines yesterday. Set 140 bowled out for 140. Powell top scored with 60, while Romario Shepherd made 22 and Johnson Charles failed to turn up on the day.
It's disappointing, to be honest. I think the bowlers put in a credible bowling performance on a wicket like that. We always knew that as a batting group we'd try not to lose wickets in clusters, but we did that.
He had high praises for the bowlers.
The bowlers put in a very good display. I think the power play was very, very good by Akeem Hussain. He keep on showing his class and trying to help us out in the power play. I think also the middle phase, as it comes down to the death overs.
Ravman Powell. Game 2 is set for the same venue on Tuesday. And finally, coach of the West Indies women, Shane D. in their 49-run loss against India in the first of 3 T20 internationals in Mumbai yesterday. Chasing 196 to win, the Windies made 146 for 7 off their 20 overs. Lead says the Caribbean side.
Since I've taken over, it's probably the worst I've seen us play. Under the preparation, everything we've had a really good World Cup. We were up for the challenge or expected things to happen, maybe a bit complacent, I'm not sure. So we'll have to debrief why it happened tonight, but from the get-go, We started off poorly.
I'm Alex Swaby, and that's your sports.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
Outperform, outlast, with top performance, Jackama. Demolition, we have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Pan select tools, 3 parts and 3 repairs. 3 parts, 3 repairs. 2 to 3. Available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-6111. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
What is love? Love is why you do the best you can for your family. They may never see it, but they sure can taste it. When I how far I will go for the people I love. That's why I only put the best on my table. The best dressed chicken with no antibiotics ever. If anyone's going to add something to my best dressed chicken, it's going to be me. Only the best can be called the best dressed chicken.
New World Home Improvement and Detail Cleaning offers high-quality detail cleaning and home improvement services. They cater to residential and commercial properties. They clean from the ceiling to the floor. They clean sofas, restore all floors. They repair and restore roofing. They do tiling, general paintings, drywall works, and other carpentry services. Call them 876-384-9313. Follow them at New World Detail Cleaning and Home Improvement.
Small business owners, this holiday season, Access Financial Services is here to help you create merry money moments. Need a boost to stock up inventory, expand your business, or prepare for the festive rush? We've got you covered with our small business loans. And here's the best part. No payments for up to 1 month. Fast approvals to keep your business moving. Flexible terms tailored just for you. Let Access Financial be your partner in growth and success this holiday season. Visit accessfinanceonline.com or step into your nearest branch today. Access Financial. Conditions apply.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Do you have a consumer-related issue? Want to learn more about matters concerning you as a consumer? Well, keep it locked to Nationwide 90 FM for the Consumer Hour with me, Nora Gay Banton, weekdays from 9 to 10 a.m. For all your consumer-centric matters, stay tuned to the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media.
Cover Story is brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
Christmas in the air, special time of year when we share with those we hold dear. Friends and family gather round the tree, making memories with rice and gunga peas. Peace and goodwill this season with fellowship and sharing, fun, kindness and love to everyone. Sharing good tidings along with Christmas pudding. Merry, 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 merry Christmas from Multilink.
Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. It is 5:34, the 16th of December, and it is time for the holiday editions of Nationwide at 5, and this is the cover story. Hello, Tyrone Reed. How are you doing?
Top of the afternoon to you, Sir Siobhan, and of course, top of the afternoon to our viewers on YouTube as well. Not too shabby, for a middle-aged guy. Or it looks like you're enjoying the season, man.
Hopes and wishes for the Christmas season, so you have to kind of build yourself up. So, Tyrone, how are things over there you're in the UK, right?
No, in Connachtland. It's
Canada.
snowing. Yeah, it's snowing as we speak. Yeah, I get. Is it raining out there?
No. Oh my God, today was quite the heated day, so to speak. Let me just say, it was quite the grueling task getting to work today under that sun. I hope things cool down before the end of this month, at least before the 25th, because it was not fun. But
absolutely.
Well, let's get right into it. We are going to do the year in reviews now, starting today with the Ministry of Works and their Minister, Robert Morgan, who we have on the line. Good afternoon, Sir Morgan.
Hey, Siobhan. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to Tyrone and your listeners.
Good afternoon, Minister.
First on the block, Minister Morgan, and boy, it has not been an easy year for the Ministry of Works. Impacted the island, plus you launched 2 programs, including one to deal with the aftermath of those 2 hurricanes and the impact that had on the country's road networks. But let's first start. It's Minister Morgan, what do you consider to be the crowning achievement of 2024 in terms of how we handled the country's road network?
I think the biggest achievement, and it's not really my achievement, it's the country's achievement, is the ability to launch the Spark program, which is the largest single investment in community road infrastructure redevelopment in the history of Jamaica. And I think the fact that we're able to do it using taxpayers' money, not using debt, is something that we all should be proud of. As a country, we have reached a stage based on our fiscal responsibility and our fiscal management, we're able to do something like that, which will impact every constituency, over 600 odd community roads.
Minister, are you still there? It sounds like we lost you.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Though, Minister, Spark has not exactly been easy going. I mean, I believe it was supposed to start back in 2023, and we had quite a few issues in terms of procurement and other issues in terms of consultations, and there was the rains and the passing of the storms that caused further delays. How are things now? Have we actually fully started now? Has work started on the Spark?
Well, the Spark program started in May, in the sense that the entire process, it was announced by the Minister of Finance in 2023, and we started work on it in 2024. And 2024 is one of the shortest procurement processes for such a program. So the infrastructure aspect of Spark is one aspect of it, and I think that's something that the public needs to understand. And the progress of taking up the dirt, but there's a whole lot of work that is done before. It is important to ensure that we do it accountably, we do it transparently, and we can justify spending taxpayers' money. So where we are now is we're at the end of the procurement process. We're at the end of the procurement process, and we are now engaged with a contractor, which is China Harbour, and then we're going to be engaged with a consultant who will supervise the works, and that should be completed in short order. We expect that we can start the first road within another couple of days. We won't be rolling out fully until about January. We're going to be starting by the end of the month on a couple of roads.
As the old quotation goes, Minister, let's not praise the day before the evening. Still lots of heavy lifting to be done for Spark to be labeled a success. But one of the things I wanted to ask, though, because we keep getting calls about the poor state of roads, and I think even last Friday while I was on, there was a caller lamenting. But then when my producers did some checks, they found out that the road the person was calling about is actually slated for established under Spark. You have the website up, Minister. Have you gotten a chance to look on the back end to see the analytics, to see how many Jamaicans are actually visiting, to see what is the... Share any of that information with us?
Well, today I actually spoke to the webmaster, and we've gotten over 10,000 relation to community roads. But what has also happened is that persons who have hit that are going to be repaired in their community, and they're sharing it in their community groups. So more than 10,000 may not be coming on the website. The information on the website is being shared far and wide. The program is the first program where the government actually consulted with community members, and the community members are the ones who have taken ownership of the process, and the website is a work in progress. We need to include the accountability framework, so when the roads are being repaired, persons can send feedback to the government with concerns they may have. And we're also going to be adding a page on the website about the REACH program. As you know, we're about to start the emergency REACH program, where patching is going to take place and rehabilitation across the island for main roads. And we want to give our citizens the opportunity to respond to us and say, we are not comfortable with how this road is being patched. Please take a look into what this contractor is doing. We're going to post who is the contractor for the roads, what are the roads that these contractors are engaged on, and give persons the opportunity to either reach out to us at Ask Spark, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So it's ASK Spark Jamaica, and these pages have been set up already. You can also ask at sparkjamaica.gov.jm to send your queries as well.
So, sorry, we're not up on the break yet, Siobhan.
Go ahead, Peter.
Minister, I heard something the Prime Minister said that I was impressed with. I'm of the view that roadworks and repairs have been over-politicized in this country. It should be more of a national effort and not necessarily done along constituency lines. I heard the Prime Minister I think it was in relation to this emergency program that has been announced, not the Spark. If you can remind me of the name of that, where he says it will be nationally directed. The REACH program. Thank you, Minister. It will be nationally directed, and that piqued my interest. And I wanted to ask you, based on conversations that the Holiness Administration have been having, is this going to be the model going forward, where we don't really do it along the political lines, which I don't think has served us very well, but the roads are nationally directed. These road repair programs are nationally directed. Will that be the model going forward?
Well, it has always been the model, but you have to recognize there's also an equity component of roadworks. When we say we have assigned an allocation to a constituency, it's a recognition that there needs to be equity distribution of resources. Now, I spend all the money on the main roads, but then a lot of persons live in the community roads to constituencies does not mean that it is politically directed. What it means is that community roads take the priority as nationally directed. It means that it is the agency that determines which road, because these roads are going to be main roads that are not necessarily in communities, roads that border constituencies, roads that no one has any vested interest in repairing. For example, which constituency member of parliament is going to recommend Constant Spring Road to be paved? Very few people live on Constant Spring Road, but Constant Spring Road is one of the main arteries that brings life to the city. So the government has to make a decision that, yes, we are saying we want to build out community roads, we want to repair community roads, but we have to set aside some of the resources that we have to ensure that our main thoroughfares the arteries that keep the commerce pumping in our major towns and cities, that they are managed and they are repaired properly and kept in good condition.
Minister, we're up on the break, but I'd really want to come back after these messages in terms of that accountability matter.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
15 minutes to 6.
Label Crafts Jamaica Limited offers exceptional finishes that will make your product extraordinary at an affordable cost. The Temperature, brought to you by Label Crafts Jamaica Limited. The #1 choice for label printing is...
It's 29 degrees Celsius here in the capital city, Kingston, and 27 out west in Montego Bay.
Have yourself a Color Glow Christmas with Edge Campaigns, where you could win amazing prizes. Just spend $20,000 or more on Edge Cam products, or
buy 1 5-gallon Color Glow plus low sheen paint to enter. You could win a weekend for 2 at a resort, among other great prizes.
Shop at participating distributors island-wide to enter.
Visit our socials at Edgecam Jamaica for full rules and details.
Promotion runs November 15 to December 15, 2024.
It's a Color Glow Christmas with Edge Campaigns.
Changing lives 1 gallon at a time. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift of a dream washing machine. Buy Speed Queen at Singer from November 15th to December 31st and get the chance to win a washer or dryer in the Speed Queen Dream Clean promotion. Plus, our winner will also get to spread the joy this Christmas and donate a washer to a local children's home. Imagine having more time for what matters most: family, friends, and freedom from laundry worries. Singer and Speed Queen, spreading joy 1 load at a time. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Welcome back, and listeners and viewers. It's the cover story, and we're doing the year in review, starting with the Minister of Works, and that is Robert Morgan. We've talked about the Spark program, touched briefly on the REACH program as well, but we have a lot to get through in a very little time. Minister, I want to talk to you about this matter of accountability in terms of which agency or which arm of the state is responsible for which road. I know we touched on this briefly sometime a few weeks ago, but I want to know in terms of what level of communication happens between those different and separate arms in terms of this needs to be repaired versus what needs to be repaired by whom, and how do we go about as citizens to hold each different arm responsible for when those maintenance carried out.
So there are different agencies and different entities responsible for road maintenance. Corporations, which are responsible for First County roads, and you have the National Main Roads. There is a discussion taking place now nationally, and the Prime Minister has opened the door to it, of whether we need to move to a one road authority. Now that sounds exciting and it sounds like a solution to all our problems, but we have to have consultations with our parish councils and other stakeholders, because while that may sound good and the government is interested in exploring it, it may not be something that everybody agrees with. That would effectively solve the issue of who owns what. And it will ensure that you don't have to call me and ask me who is responsible for this road. Or, for example, let's look at Birdsucker Lane. When the sewer works, a developer was doing sewer works on Birdsucker Lane, a lot of persons thought that it was the National Works Agency that had allowed a developer to dig up the road to lay sewer pipes, and it caused a lot of disruption. But Birdsucker Lane, though it is adjacent to Barbican Road, is not a National Works Agency road. The National Works Agency has no authority over Birdsucker Lane. And there have been many other instances where approvals have been given to entities to do things to roads, and persons chastise the National Works Agency when it is not the National Works Agency's responsibility. And we think that we have an authority that governs all roads, but without discussion and consultation. There are also other entities that impact our roads. You have the telecommunications companies who have manholes and who have various ducts that they run along the roads. You also have the National Water Commission, which has sewer lines and sewage systems that run along the roads as well.
And they hate to see a recently paved road coming in.
Pardon?
No, I'm saying, many Jamaicans are of the view that they hate to see a recently paved road coming. That's the NWC. But Minister, as you're on that point, I wanted to ask you, because I know you're a man with your ears to the ground. What could reasonably be an argument? Because I also I think the one road authority is actually a very good idea. I think it would go a far way in depoliticizing road works. But what would be a reasonable argument if you've heard anything from those informal discussions that you might have had so far against the one road authority? It sounds like a solution to me.
Well, I mean, I spoke to a colleague who is a councillor who expressed great concern that the central government was seeking to undermine the integrity of the parish council system or the municipal corporation system by removing one of their most important responsibilities, which is community roads. Now, if you know about the Parochial Revenue Fund, a lot of it goes towards maintaining community as a part of their responsibility, which is why I say to you, we were the country that passed the omnibus legislation many years ago, which entrenched in the Constitution. And we have to be very careful in our discussion operations that we do not do anything that could be construed as undermining local government. But I think that with our own road authority, where it's not perceived that we're undermining the role of the parish council, and we have to solve the problem. And if it is one road authority, that could be one solution, or maybe somebody can come up with a better variation of what needs to happen.
But Minister, isn't that just a matter of political optics? Because I don't think any Jamaican really cares who fixes the road as long as the road gets fixed. I think this is more the political directorate at the local government level concerned is seen to be the ones doing it.
Well, I've seen situations where the NWA has fixed roads in Manchester and it's this letter to the National Works Agency saying that the NWA on the property of the parish council, and I've seen it happening in other areas. While on the other hand, I have seen where, for example, the Portmore Municipal Corporation has inquired of me. It only has 4 roads in Portmore, and majority of them belong to the municipal corporation. It could be an argument.
Minister, that sounds fantastic, doing. The NWA fixed the road and the municipality wrote to them and asked them why they're trespassing.
Yes. So you have to appreciate that while we are using to be in a particular way, there are various other things operating on the actions. The legislation is very clear. Parish councils have roads, and in order for us to bring a lot of these roads into the Spark program, we've had to gazette them. Gazetting them means that we have taken them over as a part of the central government infrastructure. So it's not as simple as people may perceive it, Tyro.
So that's a big step. What's on the gazetting? Is there a time frame, or you're taking
there is no
for good?
sunset clause at this time. Decide what happens after the Spark program is completed, and we'll have to have discussions whether we keep those roads or we turn them back over. Eventually, we're going to get it about 600 and odd municipal roads, repair them under Spark, because in order for us to repair them under Spark, we have to have the legal, which is why the gazetting is so important.
So how come we don't hear the municipalities kicking up rumpus? Are I missing it?
Well, you have the Portmore mayor did send out a press release a couple of weeks ago questioning whether or not local government roads will be repaired on the Spark. I suspect that now that he has heard, he will be assured that a majority of the roads will be repaired on the Spark. Roads previously controlled by municipal corporations. But to be honest with you, Tyrone, I think a lot of this is just semantics. The fact that
Precisely.
the government has a responsibility to repair these roads. So regardless of roads are NWA roads, the fact of the matter is when you bust your tire, it's not the parish council or NWA that you're going to call on government to fix the roads that cause your tire to be burst.
Well, I appreciate that as a reasonable sentiment, Minister. May I ask, because if you've over 600 to come under the Spark program.
Well,
so
not
did
all
the
of them
whole
have been gazetted yet, but
yeah,
they
but
will be.
you intend to?
Yes.
100. Have you
Yes.
had conversations with the municipal corporations already gazetted and those that you intend to? Do you plan to have conversations with the municipal corporations? Have you spoken to them before doing?
Remember, when the CDF hosted the consultations, or a JP consultation, was a community consultation that included civil society in the community, business people in the community, residents, all councillors, all members of parliament, hosted by the Constituency Development Fund, which is a non-partisan entity, and all agency. They are the ones who recommended the roads for Spark. It wasn't the minister with responsibility for works. All the roads that you see on the website were recommended by the community. And
I get that, Minister. I get that, but I thought you were where it would have been revealed that these roads would have been gazetted. Basically, central government would.
But in order for us to repair the roads, NWA would have to take them over because it's not the parish councils that are doing Spark. It's the National Works. Your station has really given us a good opportunity to say to the public that the roads are being gazetted, taken over by the National Works Agency, so that we have the legal authority to repair them. It doesn't mean that the consultative process does not end. No, it is a constant process where we have an open and we are obligated as servants of the people to engage with those concerns to find solutions.
And I hear I'm putting it to you has been responded to.
No,
I'm asking if let me see if I can reframe it so you can. Did your administration speak to the municipalities to say these roads under your remit will be gazetted to fall under central government so that we are able to fix them? Did you have that
direct dialogue, but it is something that was said consistently over the last several months that the roads will be gazetted to come under NWA. That is not a secret.
Minister, we're out of time, but just back on the Spark program quickly. I'm looking at the website and I note quite a few roads. I know the constituency of Northwest St. Andrew is completely missing. And I'm wondering, is this just that there are certain areas that aren't yet ready to be put on the website or fixed?
That is correct. No. Each
former, not the latter.
As we continue our assessment process, our internal Northeast St. Anne is not on the list. West Central St. Andrew is not on the list. The constituency that is on the list. But at the end of the day, every single constituency will get their allotment in the Spark program. Single constituency will get their allotment in the Spark program.
Okay. Thank you, Minister Robert Morgan.
Thank you,
He is the
Minister.
Minister of That is it. The headlines are next at 6. And before we go to that, listeners, we are aware that there are some problems with the feed. Minister Robert Morgan.
Thank you,
He is the Minister.
Cover Story was brought to you by
Multilink. Roll with control. Use Multilink. Safe, fast, and accepted in more locations.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
a minute after 6.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Nora Gay Banton. Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate has reached a 3-year low of 4.3% as at November. That's according to the latest information from the Statistical down from 4.9% the month within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. The last time Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate was so low was June 2021. November's inflation mainly by changes in several divisions. These are food and non-alcoholic beverages, housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels, restaurants and accommodation services. The rate for the month of November. Chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Keith Duncan, is defending his call for public sector workers to temper their expectations regarding upcoming wage negotiations. This is despite significant increases granted to the political directorate. At what will be EPOC's last ever media briefing on Friday, Mr. Duncan is concerned that ballooning government expenditure on wages and impact other critical government spending. As at 2024, prepare for a second round of wage negotiations. Keith Duncan is calling on the public sector to temper the negotiations. He acknowledged that this may be a big ask on the part of the government in light of triple-digit increases granted.
When if you look at the overall growth in public sector companies, projecting for is like greater than $200 billion increase in a matter of in a number of years, in 3 years, $200 billion increase. So overall public sector compensation, talking about the political class and the increases that they got, that is a total of $200 billion that is paid. So yes, fewer people, and they also would have not received the level of adjustment and increments that others would have received. Their thing was almost frozen over the period.
Mr. Duncan says the increased wage uncertainties could harm the government's ability to fulfill its other fiscal.
Wages and salaries are already high and consuming approximately 45% of revenues, right? So 12.8% of GDP and 45% of tax revenues are wages and salaries to the public sector. I think that we really need to pay close attention to, and we really need to look at this to see how we're able to manage and control and set targets for ourselves here as a country going forward.
However, his comments were not an attempt to shield the government from criticism for the increase in salaries granted to the The ruling Jamaica Labour Party, JLP, has strongly rejected recent claims accusing the government of misappropriating public funds across various ministries. The claim stems from recent comments by the Jamaica Accountability tardiness in filing their annual appropriation accounts with the Auditor General. But JAMS in the press to suggest trillions of dollars in government funds the international press. But speaking on Monday, spokesperson for the JLP's communication, Marlon Morgan, rejected the suggestion that it amounts to money going missing from the government's coffers. According to Marlon Morgan, the allegations are mischievous. He says they are nothing but blatant lies being spread by members of the People's National Party, surrogates in civil society.
The PNP and a few of their supporters in civil society who have been spreading that what we have is a situation which was initially flagged in 2012-2013 financial year when expenditure on the part of the then government were not subjected to an external audit by the competent authority. So to funds are not unaccounted for or missing. It is unbecoming of the PNP and indeed its surrogates to use force mislead the Jamaican people.
He's reacting to a story carried National Weekly under the headline "Outrageous. Report finds $3 trillion government spending in Jamaica." To clarify the situation, Mr. Morgan detailed the financial process followed by government ministries. He says at the end of each year, ministries are required by law to prepare an appropriation account which outlines how the money was spent. However, the lack of an appropriation account does not mean the money is missing through other measures. Mr. Morgan says the government, led by Andrew Holness, is moving to address the long-standing problem that cuts across both PNP and JLP administrations of the past.
Ministries, appropriations accounts so as to ensure that the is able to audit those appropriations accounts and certify them in the shortest possible time. The Jamaica Labour Party recognizes that protracted delays in the preparation and the certification of ministries, as any delay is not in keeping with what is required by fix the long-standing problem.
Marlon Morgan, spokesperson for the JLP's Communication Task Force. Those were the headlines at 6. I'm Nora Gay. Band Sports is next.
Christmas in the air, special time of year when we share with those we hold dear. Friends and family gather round the tree, making memories with rice and gunga. With Christmas pudding, merry, 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 merry Christmas from Multilink.
Plug into the. We are your official affordable provider for everything solar. Grid tie or off-grid solar P systems, solar air conditioners, panels, supplies, and installation. Visit us at Shop 1, 3 Mosquito. Call 876-279-8820 or 944-0668. Or email us at peakenergysolutionsja@gmail.com. Peak Energy, everything solar.
Good evening with your sports report. I am Alex Raby. We kick things off with some football as Jamaica's national under-20 women's football team hammered Dominica 7-0 in their second game of the Jewels of the Caribbean tournament in Trinidad and Tobago today. The young Reggae girls were held to a 1-1 draw by St. Vincent and the Grenadines in their opening match on Sunday. Free kick to earn informed Bournemouth a 1-1 draw against West Ham following a thrilling finale at the Vitality Stadium. Contentious penalty looked to have snatched victory for the Hammers.
This is the team United, and they'll be in sight of another Monday victory if this goes in from Lucas Paquetá. For him,
Inez Una, and he come up with here something smashed. What a wonderful free kick, and Bournemouth do strike late. West Ham's lead did not last long, and it's another sub on the score sheet this season for Bournemouth.
Now to netball, as Netball Jamaica opened the renovated Netball Saleh at Whitcomb Road in Kingston on the weekend. Prize of the former president of Netball Jamaica.
Honor, and it's just overwhelming. You know the journey. This house is the home for the people who are doing this. So if this is where they are to come and sleep and live, they must have comfortable beds, they must have clean new sheets, and they must be in a place where we would live ourselves. And that has what has been the driving force. It has come back to join me to make this what for HGTV ready, I like to say.
Marva offered to Bernard, the then Netball Jamaica president in 2010, by the then Prime Minister of Jamaica, the Honorable Bruce Golding, to use as she sees fit to advance the sport in the country as well as on the world stage.
My real motivation was the excellence that our netball players had shown. It was acquired from our colonial masters. We play football, which they call soccer, which we also colonial masters. Netball didn't arrive here in that way. We built it here in Jamaica. The pioneers adopted the game and excelled and got to the stage where they were world beaters. And therefore, supporting this kind of enterprise didn't require any long consideration.
Bruce Golding, former Prime Minister of Jamaica. Now to athletes, including 3 Olympic champions, is headed to Boston for the new 2025. Meet organizers announced that Paris Olympic 100 meters champions medalist Grant Holloway will headline the sprint and hurdles events at the February 2 indoor event in Boston. Lyles will be racing at the meet for the 7th time in his career and looking to win his 4th 60 meters. Alfred, on the other hand, will be making her debut, and the Paris Olympic champion has certainly shown her strength indoors in her young pro career. Earlier this year, Alfred won the World Indoor Start, a storybook calendar year that saw the St. Lucian native win 100 meters gold and 200 meters silver at the Paris title. Holloway will also return to Boston, looking for a 4th straight victory at the event. Holloway has not only dominated the men's 60 meters hurdles at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix in short hurdler in world history. Not only does the Olympic 100 meters hurdles champion 8 of the fastest 9 times ever recorded in the event. Onto cycling, as 3-time national junior cycling champion Jaquan Dixon pocketed $60,000 the feature race at the Elevation Cycling Club road race from Mineral Heights to Jamalco Circuit in Clarendon on the weekend. Dixon finished ahead of Peter Thompson in second, Barrington Bailey third, the top 5. However, Thompson reversed the results in the elite category, finishing ahead of Dixon with Forrest taking third. Other category winners are Kirk Finnegan Masters, Joseph Supermasters, Noel Douglas Children ladies category. On to cricket. Darren Sammy has been appointed as the head coach of the West Indies across all formats after being named the Test head coach by Cricket West Indies today. The announcement was made by CWI Director Miles Bascom. Sammy, a 2-time ICC Men's T20 World Cup winning captain, head coach of the West Indies white ball teams since May 2023. From April next year, he will assume the responsibility. Will replace Andre Coley as the Test head coach at the championship cycle. West Indies Rovman Powell blames poor batting for the Caribbean side's 7-run first T20 International at Ernest Vale Stadium in St. Vincent yesterday. Set 148 to win, the regional side was bowled out for 140. Powell top scored with 60, while Romara Shepherd made 22 and Johnson Charles 20. Powell says the batters failed to turn up on the day.
It's disappointing, to be honest. I think the bowlers put in a credible bowling performance on a wicket like that. We always that.
He had high praises for the bowlers.
The bowlers put in a very good display. I think the power play was very, very good by Akilo Singh. Keep on showing his class and trying to help us out in the power play. I think so the middle phase was good. It's also important for us to keep on. But it comes down to the death overs.
Rovman Powell. Game 2 is set for the same venue on Tuesday. The coach of the West Indies women, Shane Dietz, says he was disappointed with the team's performance in their 49-run loss against India in the first of 196 to win. The Windies made 146 for 7 off their 20 overs. Dietz says the Caribbean side was struggling from the first ball.
Taken over is probably the worst I've seen us play. Under the preparation, everything we've had a really good World Cup, we're in a good space, and tonight, from ball one, we just seemed we weren't ready, or we weren't up for the challenge, or expected things to happen, maybe a bit complacent. Why it happened tonight, but from the get-go, we started off poorly and we never got back in the game.
Plan.
Yeah, I got some quality players. We expected to come out hard. We just bowled balls that they could easily hit. We couldn't bowl in one spot. We talked about the lengths we wanted to bowl on this pitch in particular, and we didn't hit that at all. We didn't execute the lengths and the line we talked a lot about. We trained a lot on the length on this pitch. Ramrak bowled 2 overs and she hit the right areas we talked about, and then no one else. We didn't hit our areas and made it easier for their batters. And they've got really good players, so they got a couple of pay, which they did.
Shane Dietz. And finally, Cricket West Indies appointed Chris Deering, leader with an extraordinary track record in finance, sports management, media, and telecommunications. Bold a new chapter of growth and development. Norgay Banton tells us more.
Selected from a competitive pool of over 50 applicants representing Australia, Afghanistan, India, and the Caribbean, his appointment is the culmination of a meticulous meritocratic process which included independent experts. His selection reflects CWI's steadfast commitment to attracting top-tier. He is no stranger to pioneering achievements. As the founder of Max, the Caribbean's first sports television broadcaster, he revolutionized the media landscape by showing global events such as the FIFA World Cup and the NBA. He also co-founded Jamaica's first investment bank, Daring Bunting and Golding. His entrepreneurial portfolio further includes Ready TV, Jamaica's first digital ReadyNet, the country's first satellite internet provider. Daring's earlier tenure with CWI cemented his legacy as a game-changer for West Indies cricket. As ICC Cricket World Cup 2007, he delivered one of the most complex and successful multi-nation sporting events in the Caribbean's history. His leadership resulted in the construction of Town Party Stand at Sabina Park and the implementation of Shell Cricket Academy and Scotiabank Kiddie Cricket. Under his guidance, the tournament achieved record-breaking revenues and the Caribbean's reputation as a world-class cricket nation. Daring will officially begin his tenure on February 1.
And storage solutions, hanging aids, and more. Available in different finishes and sizes to match your style. Visit them today and transform your space at shop number 630 Dunrobin Avenue, Kingston 10. Call 876-755-3661 or visit their website at uniquelivingja.com to shop.
Importers, clear customs, not your schedule. Download the JA Customs Connect mobile app from the Google Play and Apple App Stores and enjoy the ease to calculate your customs duties, search for tariff codes, track and trace your shipments, pay your declarations, and so much more, all in a click, right at your fingertips. So save time, save money. Download the JA Customs Connect mobile app today. It's fast, safe, and convenient. For more information, visit jacustoms.gov.jm. JA Customs Connect mobile app, powered by the Jamaica Customs Agency. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Rule the road with ATL Automotive and CIBC Caribbean. From now until January 31, 2025, a brand new Honda, BYD, Audi, Volkswagen, or Kia could be yours. Enjoy an 8.25% interest rate, 100% financing, 10 years to repay, up to 100% off processing fees, and 0% interest on an easy cover loan for your insurance. Plus, with the online CIBC loan store, you can fast track your loan application. Visit atlautomotive.com now so you can rule the road.
Start your engines and drive out with a brand new car with the ATL Rule the Road promotion.
Wait a minute. Get it how you live.
Kia, BYD, Honda, BMW, Mini, Audi, and VW are coming to Nationwide 90 FM.
Big stepper, underground methods.
6 Bradley Avenue on December 13, 16, and 17 for viewing. Catch the excitement on December 13 during the E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. Then catch them again on December 16 and 17 during Cliff Views Online, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Hey man, I want a proud like I'm a kid.
Bring your family, friends, co-workers, and the relatives you haven't talked to in years to Nationwide 90 FM. Men, come for a car for yourself and your lady. You won't get a deal better than this. Can't make it? Tune into the E-Zone from 3 to 5 p.m. on December 13 and the Cliff Views Online from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on December 16 and 17. It's the ATL Rule the Road promotion. 6 Bradley Avenue, December 13, 16, and 17. All this and more only on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media. This broadcast is brought to you by ATL Automotive.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special good evening to our friends on our YouTube platform. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. You know we like to hear from you, so we ask you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. It's 9 days away. I don't know about you, but I'm counting down. I'm gonna feel like me, I wash out my belly too. 9 days away until... It's 9 days until Christmas, and we're asking in Public Opinion, what are you preparing for Christmas dinner? You know, we have to prepare or belly at this point in time. From now, we can start it, a little wash out them. So we can eat and be merry on Christmas Day. So yes, that's what we're asking in Public Opinion this evening. What are you preparing for Christmas dinner? Food to eat. So let's get to the comments on our Facebook platform real quick. Michelle Bernard is saying, whatever my money and the Lord provides, 2 fish and some green gungo. Let me see if I can get. Cleveland Richards is saying, almost a little of everything. The oxtail is a must. Yeah? The oxtail is a must. I totally agree with you. Philip Jackson saying, anything set on the table, I'll bless it and eat it. Just be thankful. Yeah? Wendy Brown says, I would love some green gungo soup. I'm tired of meat. Would you look at that? And Robert Ranger is saying, hope the fast food restaurant them open early and close late. And I know some people, you know, for a fact, some people will go to the fast food restaurants instead of standing up in the kitchen over a pot of a lot of stuff and the heat and everything, and then when you're done, you have to go wash up back the plate. Some people break tradition, you know, and everybody do the big Christmas dinner. Some people break tradition and them literally just go at any fast food restaurant and eat. Or they take their family out to the beach or something. I know for a fact that I have friends, I have people that I know that don't really into the whole Christmas tradition of staying home or going to family and cooking, and then when you're done, you have to wash out the pot them and everything and ensure that everything clean. I know some people kind of don't want that anymore. So I understand with Robert Ranger saying, hope the fast food restaurants open early and close late. Vassal Davidson is also saying him hope KFC open. He can grab some on his way to work. And you also have those people who will be working on Christmas Day. Yeah. Parchment is saying Mediterranean grilled eggplant with steamed baby carrots and broccoli. Would you look at that? A pure vegetable that. Rosalind Buck saying, I will be going to my friends for Christmas dinner. Yeah. For those of us who not stay home, we are going to somebody's yard. But I've always heard that you should walk with something. Walk with something whenever you go to somebody's yard. Walk with something. Jad Doyle is saying same old turkey, ham and stuffing, mac and cheese with candy yams, sweet potatoes. CJ is saying that he doesn't know whatever he feels for on that day, then he shall consume. Natalie Winter is saying, Christmas will not be Christmas dinner because I lost my beloved grandmother. So I all out of Christmas this year. And that is so understandable, Natalie Winter. Condolences going to you and your family. And she's saying that maybe a New Year's dinner if life spare. I know some people also don't do the big Christmas dinner, but for New Year's Day, they do the big dinner for that day. If you're just joining us, we're inside the Court of Public Opinion and we want to know what are you cooking for Christmas this time around. On Instagram, Rose Petals is saying ham, baked chicken, breadfruit salad, macaroni pie. So let me need to find Rose Petals' house. One Empress is saying preparing to go to Smuddy Yard. That not bad. You cook 364 days out of the year. I mean, you can go, and, get something. Jet Slate is saying anything that I normally eat on a Wednesday. Okay. HM is saying I'll accept any well-prepared meal. I'll be preparing a comfortable bed to get some well-needed rest. Yeah? And he's saying that he may give NNN a little break as well, unless you only have good news, like increasing income tax threshold. We can hope. The Lady Rebel is saying nothing chops and breeze pie. I always hear about nothing pudding. Them always say nothing pudding. But Rebel is saying she'll be having nothing chops and breeze pie with some laughing emojis over here. Chris Duncan is saying gungo pea soup. I don't know about the gungo pea soup, you know. I was having the conversation in office today. I don't know about the gungo. Give me rice and peas. I don't know about the gungo. But on our YouTube platform, Charmaine Walker is saying ham, lamb, beef, potato salad, mac and cheese. No, man, Charmaine, you have to go send me the pin. Send me the location. Beetroot, green salad, rice and peas, sorrel, shrimp, Christmas cake, cheesecake. Charmaine, me feel like Charmaine have our thing well planned out. Winston Durant says, me have a big buck jack fish. I'm going to deal with it for my birthday because I don't do Christmas. All right, Winston Durant, I feel you. Let me see. Veronica White is saying that she'll be having some good old cornmeal porridge. Yeah? Some good old cornmeal porridge. Is that for breakfast or you're just having that entirely for dinner? Jam Gran is saying curry goat, ham, turkey, manish water. Listen, me look forward to my manish water, you know. Any soup I drink on Christmas, it has to be manish water. Me don't want no other soup. I drink red pea soup and all kind of other soup, chicken soup throughout the year. I drink some manish water too, but pan Christmas, I want manish water. So Jam Gran is saying manish water, macaroni and cheese, potato salad, sorrel vegetables, and dance like David giving praises to the Lord. Hey, when your belly full, it nice, you know. Marlene P saying oxtail, green gungo and rice. Ronald Grant also is saying turn corn meal. When your mat sit up and season it well nice. Yeah, I know that for sure. I know that you guys are having some issues with the feed on YouTube. I'm seeing the comments here. Ursuline Bowen says, I don't eat out. I will prepare my own soup and vegetables at the side. Okay. All right. Master Jem is saying Christmas cake. Yeah. Kingsley Graham will be having a little of everything. Be sure not to full up on a plate. So you know the big wok of rice? The big wok of rice and they just take a little of everything. You know? A little of everything so that the plate can look nice. Yeah? Master Jam says, yes, manish water. Yeah, man. Kathleen Drummond is saying manish water is for Boxing Day for us. Yeah. You know, I think this Christmas me I go take a little of everything. Alex Smith is saying sweet and sour spicy pork with coconut trash rice and peas, buttered milky mashed potatoes. And you know what I look forward to? I love lasagna. Christmas time, love lasagna. I don't know, it just goes well with everything in the mix. The chicken, the pork, you know, it goes well with everything. All right, thank you guys so much for participating in Public Opinion, getting the wrap-up signal. But guys, remember to prepare, plan first what it is that you're going to cook for your Christmas dinner so you ensure so you have everything. Seasoning, meat kind, everybody. Thank you guys for participating. Up next, the Business Report.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
6:35. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate has reached a 3-year low of 4.3% as at November. That's according to the latest information from the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin. Now, this is down from 4.9% for the previous month. This remains within the Bank of Jamaica's target range of 4 to 6%. The last time Jamaica's point-to-point inflation rate was so low was June 2021. Further afield, Bitcoin has surged to a new record high, extending a rally that has seen the cryptocurrency's price rise by more than 50% since Donald Trump's victory in the November 5 election. The world's largest cryptocurrency briefly passed 106,000 before falling back to around 105,000 in Asia trade on Monday. The incoming Trump administration is seen as being far more friendly towards cryptocurrencies than the Biden White House. On Thursday, the U.S. president-elect, he reiterated that he is considering creating a national stockpile of the digital currency, similar to the country's strategic oil reserve. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 156 Jamaican dollars and 72 cents to buy $1 US, 198 Jamaican dollars and 94 cents to buy £1 British pound, and 110 Jamaican dollars and 81 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the business report. I'm Robeanne Williams. Good evening.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10 or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Gale, inviting you to join me at the Oasis for 12 Days of Christmas, beginning December 16, 12:55 p.m. We'll share Christmas songs and remind ourselves of prophecies related to the birth of Christ. That's Oasis, 12 Days of Christmas, weekdays, beginning Monday, December 16, 12:55 p.m. Only on Nationwide, the new revolution in media.
Informative, educational, insightful. Let's talk justice. Tackling topics like constitutional rights and reform, domestic violence, and rights issues that affect you. Let's Talk Justice every Monday from 1 to 2 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM. Call in, share your thoughts, be empowered, know your rights, and let's talk justice, ensuring access to justice for all, courtesy of Jamaicans for Justice.
Catch the E-Zone with me, the Stinger Honeybee, alongside
Kareem Boyating.
As we turn up the heat
in the street. New show.
New vibe.
Same us.
Same us.
Monday to Friday, 3 to 5 p.m.
Right here on Nationwide 90 FM.
We'll bring you entertainment news.
We'll take away your Monday blues.
You don't want to miss a week with us.
We'll talk health.
Well,
jump into the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss the brain buster.
Or the crazy giveaways.
I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugatti.
Ow.
Nation's Business is brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
Good afternoon, listeners and viewers. It's 6:41 and it's time for the Nation's Business. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Tyrone Reed.
So, listeners, we are now switching gears because it is the holiday period, and that means a lot of shopping, a lot of people more about and around. And so we're going over to the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, which says it's actively working to clear garbage backlogs across the island this week. Executive Director of the NSWMA, Audley Gordon, says the work of the authority was hampered by persistent bad weather.
Sure, we did have some challenges on our disposal sites, which resulted in a slowing down of the operations and the backlogs that ensued. All of this is a result of the protracted rains that we experienced. We are happy that the weather seems to have improved, and we are working hard now, pushing our 3 trips each day, going deep into the evenings, just trying to get on top of the backlog situation. We ask residents please to properly containerize their garbage or package the garbage properly for us so that when we come we can just take up and move. It makes for a more efficient operation and it will help us to clear the backlogs and give you a cleaner Christmas.
The voice there of Audley Gordon is the boss of the NSWMA. He's asking as you heard there in that clip, it's important just to reiterate, asking for residents to make life a little easier for the NSWMA by packaging their garbage. Mr. Gordon, he joins us now. Top of the evening to you, Mr. Gordon.
Good evening to you, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Reed, and your listeners.
Good evening to you as well, Mr. Gordon. So how is it going, Mr. Gordon, in terms of clearing up that backlog? Do you have any updates as to which communities you've gotten through and how and when residents who are still awaiting the arrival of those trucks, when they can expect that arrival?
Okay, so I can speak broadly to what we are doing because it's right across Jamaica. It's more pronounced in Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine, but it's right across Jamaica, and we have started a full court press in terms of running 3 trips per day and opening late in the evening. As we speak, we're on the road and we are doing more night collections now than we would normally have been doing. We have to just keep going. It's a tough situation because the rain started somewhere about September for at least 3 months, literally non-stop. We had the rain situations. The act of God, there's nothing we can do about it. We have to just work through it. The challenge, is that the Christmas garbage, which traditionally, once the Christmas rhythm get going, there's a lot more garbage to contend with all the parties and the cleaning out and throwing out that take place around this time. So that is what we come to expect. What we didn't expect is the protracted rains that would carry us into a backlog situation at this time. We have a real challenge on one hand, a real challenge, and I apologize to the listeners for that. Something went off in the car. We have a real challenge on one hand at this time that we are trying to get over. We ask for the understanding. I love the fact that you played the clip for me to reiterate the fact that we need the full cooperation situation. And I must say that most residents do properly containerize their garbage. There are some who are still not doing their part. We ask them, please, especially now when we have the heavy influx of garbage and we have to treat with a backlog situation while we are managing the influx of Christmas garbage. So it's really a challenge, but we are working around the clock, and we appeal to our men and women who have to go there night and day. We appeal to them for that little extra, and they are on board, and we have to just make sure that we keep all the ducks in a row and hope that we get the participation of the wider community so that we can have a clean Christmas.
Stay with us, Mr. Gordon. We're up on a break.
Payroll made simple and secure. Get automated with BizPay, an integrated payroll and HR solution powered by MC Systems. Contact them today. The time by MC Systems is
6:46.
Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, is a financial reporting firm that delivers accounting and compliance services on time. Call us today at 876-908-0486-7. Email us at clientservices@cocnjamaica.com or visit our website at www.cocnjamaica.com. COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology, and integrity.
KFC festive feast for the holidays. Full of power with my friends and my family. KFC bucket of the flavor. Something for everybody, time for we celebrate. 12 piece of chicken so delicious. Fries, biscuits, coleslaw, mashed potatoes. And the Pepsi. Crunch the holiday with KFC. It's the festive feast for you and
Crunch the holidays with the KFC festive feast. 12 pieces of delicious chicken, sides, and a 2-liter Pepsi. Try our new KFC dessert biscuits. KFC, it's finger licking good.
We are the best at what we do. At Hose Assembly and Supply Limited, we supply hose fittings and tools. We guarantee we can't be beaten when price and quality are combined. You brand us the Hose and Tool Boss because we deliver the most effective industrial solutions. Come in and experience the joy of shopping with Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. Call us 876-923-3936 or visit 173 Hagley Park Road, 2 Charlesworth Crescent or Montego Bay Trade Center. Hose Assembly and Supply Limited. More than just hoses. Now open every Sunday.
It's 6:48 and we are talking about solid waste. The boss for the National Solid Waste Management Authority, Audley Gordon, is appealing for patience as the authority works through some backlogs caused by the recent heavy rains, and he is with us now. Mr. Gordon, I think one of the biggest problems around this time is the town centers. We're talking about like Maypen and other areas where they're holding grand markets and such when that time comes up, and those areas tend to have a lot of garbage pile up leading into Christmas and after the big celebrations. How will the NSWMA be tackling those problem areas?
All right, but before I go to the tackling of those areas, and I appreciate the question, Mr. Campbell, why our grand market has to be associated with so much garbage left behind? And that's a question that we have to ask ourselves, and we have to seek as a country, as a nation, to ratify. Because the fact that we go out buying and selling and so on, we could practice good solid waste management habits while we are doing that and leave no garbage behind, But we have warped into a very, very, very bad culture where we believe that we must just drop it. If we are through with it, we finish drinking a bottle of water, finish eating a patty, we finish eating our lunch, we can just drop the box. Somebody will come and take it up. And part of the challenge that we have and we are trying to communicate is that we are responsible for the solid waste that we generate. So we don't get to just leave it behind, digressing a bit to even out of the Palisades Strip where people go for entertainment and recreation. Nothing wrong with that. But why is it that there's so much garbage left behind on the strip? The bottles that you drank, or your water, or your juice, the food boxes, all sorts of things are left on the strip. The face of the city, the face of the country. We must do better, and quite frankly, personal responsibility cannot be divorced from the conversation. However, for the town centers, you mentioned Maypen, you could talk about Lindsay, you could talk about Brownstown, you could talk about downtown Kingston. We have partnered with the municipal councils and the police, and we are going in late at night. We can't go moving the big truck through the kind of crowds that are there. So we go late at night and we try to do a clean up, and then and so that people can have a clean space in the mornings when they return. We also have in place, and this is not new, plan for the clean up after Grand Market. So when most people are having their Christmas breakfast, we are out cleaning, and we start very early in the morning once the people have left the space.
But tell me,
Mr. Gordon.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Tyrone.
Yeah, Mr. Gordon, I want to go back to the rain thing, but since you're on Grand Market and you've raised a very critical point that Jamaicans don't seem to know that when they throw away their garbage, away is a place, it actually goes to some place, right? You don't just throw it away, it disappears into the ether. And so personal responsibility is very important. You're no stranger to local government, though. Is this a good time for the NSWMA to partner with the local government authorities, the municipal corporations, to perhaps install additional receptacles for Grand Market so as to limit, for those who need the help, for those who need the help to dispose of their garbage. Some people will hold it until they get home, but others are not there yet. What about the municipal corporations taking the lead on that, working with the National Solid Waste Management Authority? Is that a good remedy, you think?
It is a good remedy, safe, and there is budgetary implications which affect all of us in local government, including the municipal corporation. So we do have a town centre plan, Tyrone, that will see adequate receptacles placed in town centres that people will not have to walk too far to dispose of something when they want to discard it. We have that plan in place. It is not just a receptacles plan, because then the receptacles will get filled up and we have to clear the receptacles also. We have to clear the receptacles also. And so we have that particular challenge now that will have to be dealt with. So what the plan involves is wardens going through the town centre at regular intervals to pick up and to clear those receptacles. And then we'll have in the plan also a small unit, like a pickup truck, that will take from the wardens whatever they have collected and take it to a holding area where it's outside of the town itself, than the outskirts, where the bigger truck can then take it and move it to a disposal facility. And that plan, when we looked at it and we do the review of it, we could see all our town centers being clean and in pristine condition right throughout the day. But it would have to be funded. We have made the budgetary submission. We appeal for that particular program to get some special attention. And I think, based on the conversation we have had with our minister already and with our permanent secretary, everyone is looking favorably at that plan, because that would answer the question that you raised, Tyrone, in terms of not for Grand Market, but normally.
But personal responsibility, no budgetary allocation is needed for that. It's the cheaper way out, isn't it?
Right. But the truth is, we will still have to have the infrastructure for it, for the person who would say to Tyrone, well, I have this bottle and I'm walking a road and trying to find a receptacle. We have to give him an opportunity to do the thing properly, if he wants to do it properly. Then you have to have an enforcement component for those who just don't care and won't. Even when you install the receptacles, they will find a way to litter. We have to have the enforcement regime for that, and we are beefing up our enforcement also, and we have actually started on that front.
And speaking of the matter of enforcement, Mr. Gordon, I mean, oftentimes we point to the individuals themselves, but what about the vendors? I've seen quite a few occasions where the vendors are the ones who tend to just throw their trash any and anywhere, regardless of the fact that they have to operate in that surroundings.
Yes, we do have the problem spread across demographic, and whatever plan we come up with would have to incorporate all the players. All the players. The vendors are critical. And when we went into the town centers to do outreach, with the last one was the Clean City program, we went like stall by stall, talking to vendors, we talked to taxi operators, we talked to the bigger business owners. Everyone has to play their part. Everyone has to come to the table.
If we could dial it back a bit, Mr. Gordon, for those who might not be able to understand the mechanics of this, how does the inclement weather prevent the NSWMA from carrying out its task? Could you elaborate on that?
Happy to do so. So we operate disposal sites, which are largely dirt tracks that we have to navigate to go to the different cells on the site. Time won't allow me to explain in detail, but just imagine a huge acreage, like 100 acres, 50 acres of land, and we cut it up into cells, different partitions then, where we store garbage and press it, compact it, and then when that cell is filled up, we go to the other cell and we do the same. But in between those cells, we have dirt tracks. The challenge with the dirt tracks is when time is dry, you are cool. When the rain falls, especially as frequently as it did in the last 3 months, they get soft, very soggy. The big trucks go in, they get stuck. Holes are created. We have to be using heavy-duty equipment sometimes to push truck out to get them out of the holes. And all in all, we can't go in and out with the frequency that we would like, and it slows down the operation from that end. When the operation is slowed at the disposal site, where the trucks are not going in and out as they should, within the time frame that they should, trucks are waiting in line and the garbage is still in the community. So unless we can move the trucks in and out with that level of efficiency and timeliness, we can't get back into the community to take up the garbage. And that's when we find the operation slowing down, not just from the disposal site end, but also in the community end, because the same truck that comes into your community this morning is going into another community in the afternoon.
Mr. Gordon, the cynic might say it's 2024, How is it that we're not able to find a solution to dirt roads at a landfill?
We can always discuss that, but I play the hand that I draw, Tyrone, and when I went in 2016, that's what I inherited, dirt trucks in the disposal site, and we have to try and work our way through with it, because while we have some other conversations that we need to have, and you will hear talks about this building out a new outfit for waste management. Enterprise team is working on that, and they are talking about changing location, talking about creating all sorts of small transfer station, waste to energy, etc., etc. While all those conversations are going on, you still going to hold Audley Garden to account for your garbage that's not taken up. So I have to just play the hand that I draw and keep working.
I note, Mr. Gordon, with all the challenges that you still face over at Solid Waste Management, you did not bring up the lack of trucks as one of those. I just trust that matter is now well and truly solved, or in the process of being solved.
The taxpayer has done their part in that regard for now. We must continue to replenish the fleet so that we don't get the trucks getting aged on us like before and start falling apart. But right now, the taxpayer have ratified that aspect of the conversation quite well, and I think we have to, on the other end, do the other little things now that will complement that. Part of it is to properly package our garbage and don't create the unsightly mess by tossing the garbage all over. You go around and you look, and you will see one bag of garbage scattered out, creating this unsightly mess that 20 bags of garbage, if it's properly packaged, would never have created.
But Mr. Gordon, it sounds as if in certain respects you're saying you're being given basket to carry garbage, pun intended. But isn't this one of those things that you perhaps should put? I know you said the enterprise team is working on, a new look for garbage collection and this whole business of garbage in the country. But isn't this one of those things that you should put a plan on the table for, that you can get some funding for to address in the short term, not even medium term, in the short term, to at least create safe passage into the sites, the dump sites? Isn't that a short term, low hanging fruit?
Well, the truth is, we are guided by a board, a minister, a creature of the government. We take lead from those above us. And right now, there is a full court press for the new outfit, and the enterprise team is on or about wrapping up their work. We would not be at this time going forward to create expenses that the appetite would not be there by the powers that be for, in that they have plans already that they are working on. So it's kind of like a period where you try to work your way through. It's pretty much like you buy a new house. You buy a new house and you know you're going to be moving shortly. So you will do things to the old house. But you're not gonna do
splash all the cash on it.
That's a thousand. You're not gonna do the major things, like, for example, that's not the time when you're gonna call in a man to do this massive renovation and painting and changing tiles and kitchen and bathrooms and all that. When you know in a few days you're moving out and you already know, say you put it on the market and a buyer is interested and everything like that. So I think what we have to do now is work through the little issues that we have and try to keep the thing going until such time.
Commentator Jay on our YouTube channel, Mr. Gordon, is saying you're using the rain as a scapegoat. News commentator Jay says the rain isn't the issue. The garbage wasn't collected. Shake my head. The collection has been really bad for a while now, before the rains. Is that accurate?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. The caller or the person on YouTube, I don't argue with members of the public. I don't quarrel. I only state the facts as I see them. They are verifiable facts. People can investigate them. The truth is, we were getting on top of the garbage situation, and we were doing much better. We had complaints were down significantly before we get into this protracted period of rains. That's verifiable. We also had challenges on the disposal site, which we didn't close off the disposal site to media or anyone who would want to go and take videos and pics and so on. But, you will always have, people will have their own, and social media offers that opportunity for people. What I will say is that we take this business very seriously, and we roll up our sleeves every day, and we go out and we work hard. We have to take the criticisms. We are in a liberal democracy, and that's just how the game is played around here. But what I've said to the country this evening are facts that are verifiable, and we are doing our best in a tough situation to make sure that we can get on top of the backlogs that we have, and to get Jamaica around to as the best Christmas that they can have in the circumstances.
And that is Executive Director for the National Solid Waste Management Authority, Audley Gordon. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Mr. Gordon.
Appreciate it. All the best.
All the best to you as well. We take a break, listeners, and come back with more.
Nation's Business was brought to you by BH Paints. Paint it, love it with BH Paints.
GK1 now introduces third-party motor insurance from GK General Insurance. Download and log into the GK1 app, then select one of 3 affordable third-party options. The time by GK General Insurance is
7:05.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90FM is searching for business development executives to help us grow our business and build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Hi, I'm Loy Gale, inviting you to join me at the Oasis for 12 Days of Christmas, beginning December 16, 12:55 p.m. We'll share Christmas songs and remind ourselves of prophecies related to the birth of Christ. That's Oasis, 12 Days of Christmas, weekdays, beginning Monday, December 16, 12:55 p.m. Only on Nationwide, the new revolution in media.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We're now going over to Trinidad and Tobago, where the junior minister in the Ministry of Education, Lisa Morris Julian, and two of her children have died in a house fire. Ms. Morris Julian was Member of Parliament for Dabadi O'Meara. The fire happened before dawn on Monday at the Farfan Drive in Arima.
According to reports, listeners and viewers, by the Trinidad Express, Morris Julian, her son and daughter were in a section of the house where they could not escape. Her husband and other children were able to make it out. In a statement, the governing People's National Movement, PNM, informed members of the deadly fire.
The Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, and Arima MP Penelope Beckles visited the scene to console relatives. We're now being joined by lead editor for news gathering at The Guardian in Trinidad and Tobago, Kian Haynes. Good afternoon. Good evening, rather.
Good evening to you, Kian Haynes.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for having me.
Good evening, Sir Haynes. So can you just give us an update as to what are the circumstances as they stand now? What do we know about the fire that unfortunately claimed the lives of these three people?
That's the thing. We still don't know the cause, no probable cause either, but we know it was a very old house, so any fire, it was able to go really, really quickly, burn really quickly through just the entire thing before maybe they would have even had a chance to react. We do know that they were actually probably awake at the time. Minister Morris Julian was probably getting ready for work, and probably at the time, or probably at 5 o'clock, she was probably just, waking up and getting ready to start her day. We also, I think everything else you said there, the eldest daughter, her youngest son, they were the ones who died, and her husband is in the hospital right now, along with two others. One of her children was not home at the time.
But I'm trying to understand, as I said, you were there on the ground. According to reports, she was trapped in a part of the house and unable to find an exit. Could you give us a few more details as to what kind of structure we're talking about?
Well, a lot of the houses in Trinidad, we have this burglar proof. So we're not entirely sure, but it's quite possible that it might have been one of those cases where the burglar proof might have been hard to open, might not have been able to open it. We're not entirely sure, because one of the other things that we did hear is that as she was trying to escape, the roof may have collapsed on her. So multiple reports coming out, and we haven't gotten a clear idea from the police or the fire services as to exactly what happened, what the causes. That will probably come within a day or sometime in the near future.
Of course, this is an extremely unfortunate, tragic, sad incident. Could you tell us a little bit more about Maurice Julian? The PNM, in its statement, described her as absolutely beautiful, kind, strong, compassionate, and amazing person. Did you know Mrs. Maurice Julian personally, or can you tell us anything more about who she was as a person, as a politician?
Yeah, I actually knew her quite well over the years when she was the mayor of Arima. That's when I first got to know her, and over the years she really was a mentor to like a lot of the younger politicians, especially as they were coming into the Arima Borough Council. That's at the local government level. And when she was chosen to be the MP, she was actually at the start of her second term as mayor, and the MP at the time got himself into some hot water with some statements that he made on Facebook, and they called her up to take over his position, and she blossomed into the position. It was something that she wasn't exactly vying for, but she had it thrust upon her, and she handled it well. She really was. A lot of people in the media, a lot of friends to a lot of people in the media. She's one of those people who will talk to you very frankly and tell you what the latest situation is on the ground. And even if she wasn't at liberty to speak publicly, she would always say, hey, listen, this is the situation. She was very, very accommodating, just a really, really gentle person. I would call her sometimes, and the son, that same son that perished in the fire, would be, jumping up on her and asking her to get off the phone, like, why are you on the phone? Come play with me, kind of stuff. So it's, yeah.
Yeah. How old was she, and do you know the ages of her children who died as well?
Yeah, she was 48. Her eldest daughter who died was 25, and her son was 6. One of them.
Wow. Wow. And in terms of the reaction on the ground to this tragic incident, Mr. Haynes, what has been the reaction, outpouring of love and sympathies, one would suppose?
Yeah, I'll say when I got the news this morning, and it was literally the first thing that I heard as I opened my eyes. And I live about a 10-minute drive away. But in that time, the traffic, I was in some traffic and my windows were down, and you were hearing people on the street saying, hey, did you hear about Lisa? Did you hear about Lisa? And you're hearing people, the news is spreading in the street as I'm driving to the scene, and everybody's like, no, man, she's a good one. She was a good one. And the street itself where she was blocked off. There were so many people who came to say, to send their condolences. The bar, there was a bar like 3 or 4 houses down from where she lived. Now normally we playing soca or reggae or whatever at that hour. And they switched to hymns, they felt the mood, and they switched immediately to reflect the mood of the people.
And I know it's still early days in terms of an investigation, but is there any belief that this could have been a deliberate act, or do they believe it was a tragic accident?
Yeah, still too early to tell. We put that question to the Commissioner of Police several times today, and she was unable to give us any clear answer. I think one of the things that it is going to be investigated as well is she lived, I want to say, almost literally around the corner from the fire station. But the fire tenders were out on other calls, which is why they took so long to get there. So I think that response time is going to be definitely factoring into the investigation. There are a lot of businesses around that area, so they are probably going to start looking at CCTV footage just to see if anything would have happened before. A lot more is going to have to be done in the next coming days and weeks ahead.
Is there an estimated time that they believe what time the fire started? Around about what time? And were they possibly asleep?
Just a little after 5, somewhere shortly, like somewhere between 5 and 5:30. We've been hearing different reactions, but I think we can safely put it between 5 and 5:30 this morning.
In the morning. So chances are they may have been asleep when the fire started.
Yeah, Yeah, sure. She would have been probably like just waking up, getting ready to go to work.
Really tough one. Just 48. That has to be, difficult for her loved ones and for the entire community. We extend sympathies to our Trinidadian brothers and sisters. This must be a hard one to deal with.
Yeah, so it's a hard start to the week, especially so close to Christmas. We appreciate the thoughts, man.
That is lead editor for news gathering at The Guardian in Trinidad and Tobago, Keon Haynes. Thank you for joining us. And as Tyrone said, our condolences to the Trinidad and Tobago on the whole and the family of Ms. Lisa Morris Julian.
And please give our regards, Mr. Haynes, to Kmart Jordan.
We shall.
All right, sir. Thank you.
More after this, listeners and viewers.
Get it all in one go. Download and sign up now. The time by the 1JN Passport app is
7:16.
Is your money idling when it could be thriving? With CIBC Caribbean's fixed deposit offering, you can take charge of your cash. With 50,000 Jamaican to start, choose terms from 30 days to 2 years. Lock in your funds and enjoy premium rates guaranteed to grow your wealth. Whether you're eyeing short or long-term gains, our fixed deposit account puts you firmly in control of your money. Now is the time to open a CIBC fixed deposit account and start earning more today. CIBC, ambitions made real.
Time for a new look.
And high time to get serious about protecting our home and investment.
It's time to choose BH Paints with over 60 years experience in quality paint finishes. Their products are superior and long-lasting.
Time to check them out.
Ask about BH Paints 100% acrylic Ultima Plus paint and primer in one. Experience rich colors with advanced UV and mildew-resistant technologies, independently tested by experts. What are you waiting for? Visit a BH Paints Color Center today.
The most spectacular year-end sale is back at IQ Optical. Get up to 75% on optical frames and sunglasses in December. Conditions apply.
Are you ready to turn your sales and marketing skills into high earnings? Nationwide 90 FM is searching for business development executives to build lasting client relationships. If you have experience across all stages of the sales cycle and possess strong communication, negotiation, and time management skills with a proven sales track record, this opportunity is perfect for you. Join our team and work with the top corporate brands, media agencies, and of course, our on-air personalities. Enjoy networking opportunities, professional growth, and competitive commissions. Ready to take the next step? Send your resume to hr@nationwidenewsnetwork.com today.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers. We're going to be taking your calls in a bit, but we still have one little bit of business to wrap up, and that is over in Germany, where the Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, has lost a no-confidence vote on Monday in the country's parliament, paving the way for a snap election in February next year. Confidence votes in Germany are relatively rare. It was called after the nation's three-party governing coalition collapsed amid infighting over how to modernize and boost the European Union's largest economy.
Like Siobhan, it does appear that political jobs, the security of tenure over there in Europe,
is rather short.
Great. The English have been setting the records for how they're changing prime ministers. You see what's happening over there in France with the prime minister, and now the German chancellor is the latest to get the political boot. Interesting times over there in Europe. Now, Scholz needed 396 votes in Germany's parliament, known as the Bundestag. He got 207. The German president, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, has 21 days to decide whether to dissolve parliament, a move he's widely expected to do.
The dissolution of Parliament is a formality. The process eventually leads to new elections, which are expected on February 23. Scholz has been Germany's Chancellor since the late 2021, replacing conservative Angela Merkel, who spent 16 years in the role. But because no single party secured a majority in the Bundestag, Scholz's center-left Social Democrats formed a progressive governing coalition with the Greens, an environmentalist party led by Vice-Chancellor Robert Habeck, and Christian Lindner's pro-business Free Democrats. More in this report from DW News.
We start with breaking news from here in Germany, where Chancellor Olaf Scholz has lost a vote of confidence in Parliament. Scholz won the support of only 207 lawmakers, far short of the majority needed to win. He'd been expected to lose the vote after his three-party coalition collapsed in early November, when he fired his finance minister in a dispute over how to revitalise Germany's stagnant economy. It paves the way for snap elections in February, and this is the moment when the result was announced.
The Chancellor's motion did not achieve the required majority of at least 367 votes in favour. I will inform the President of the result of the vote without delay. That brings us to the end of our agenda and to the end of the coalition.
Well, we can cross live now to the German Parliament, the Bundestag, and DW's chief political editor, Michaela Kufner, who's standing by for us. Michaela, great to see you. Busy day indeed for you. We have the result we expected, so what happens next?
Yes, well, we heard from the President of Parliament. She's going to inform the President, Germany's federal president, who has a largely ceremonial role. And he has 21 days within which he can decide what to do. He could also try and get the coalition or the former coalition to have to talk to each other again. But we understand from the comments he's made before that he will clear the way for elections on the 23rd of February. So it's largely procedural from now onwards on that road to those snap elections.
All right, so if it is indeed, as you say, confirmed that the election will take place on the 23rd of February next year, what issues are set to dominate on the campaign trail?
Well, a big one is the economy. That's because Germany, which is the third or fourth largest economy in the world, depending on who you believe, and we heard both mentioned here in Parliament today, has a lot of economic indicators pointing downward. It's also in the midst of a technology transition. Its key car industry is particularly hit, also the electronic vehicle section of it. And that has sparked huge concerns here in Germany that Germany's heyday of being also an industrial country could be over. So that is something that's looming very large. Olaf Scholz's response is to want to pour more money into the economy, to give out grants for specific industries. That is something that is countered by the leader of the opposition, Friedrich Merz, the leader of the conservative CDU-CSU party union, formerly known as Angela Merkel's party. He wants to create new dynamism by cutting taxes. He had a scathing condemnation, not just of the performance of this coalition here today, but also personally of the Chancellor and of him at the European level. And we also expect other issues like migration to play a large role. The bigger that becomes of an issue, the more it plays into the hands of the far-right AfD party, which is neck and neck with the Chancellor's own SPD party, hovering just below 20%. The leading Conservatives currently in the polls at around 30%. So these will be key issues that both sides are zooming in on, and they've already each accused each other of not having done the maths in their party programs and simply not having the financing straight. Just a quick reminder, that's the exact issue why this whole coalition essentially imploded.
Yeah, that certainly did. Now, Scholz will be leading a minority government for the next 2 months. So where does this leave the German Chancellor on the world stage? Because it's a pretty hectic time at the moment.
Yes, well, Parliament is formally dissolved, but it remains the Parliament. It can still take decisions, but both the government and Parliament can't take key decisions for Germany anymore. So there is a huge element of a lame duck key nation here in Europe, neighboring, of course, France, which has its very own struggles with political stability. And the spotlight will potentially be on Italy, interestingly enough, when Donald Trump comes into office on the 20th of January and unveils what his plans are in Europe and what he no longer plans to do. So it was admitted also by the Vice Chancellor, the Green Trade Minister, Habeck, here in Parliament today, that this comes at a very bad point in time. But it appears that it simply was no longer avoidable, this implosion, essentially, of what was a political experiment, a three-way coalition. But that doesn't mean that there won't need to be another one to get a majority following those snap elections.
We'll leave it there, Michaela. Thanks for that update. DW's chief political editor, Michaela Kuffner, joining us from the German Parliament in the Bundestag.
And there you have it, listeners, from overseas. The German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, had to step down after a vote of no confidence.
Yes.
It seems incumbencies across the world are all on the decline.
The pressure, man.
And
the pressure.
I'm starting to understand it. I believe this ultimately might be the end result now of COVID-19 and how that reshaped a lot of the political landscape across the world. And I think we're now finally, in those seasons of where elections are happening, I think we're now finally feeling the ramifications of that in terms of the economic pressures that COVID placed on a lot of nations.
Interesting political thesis there, Siobhan. Interesting supposition. It's something to consider. It's not something to sneeze at all. That COVID, long COVID, this might be one of the effects of long COVID, eh?
I mean, well, you can consider inflation essentially that's an effect of long COVID. COVID really reshaped a lot of the landscape in terms of how economic transactions are carried out, and I think a lot of nations now are seeing where that impact is being felt. If you saw it in the United States, where inflation and economic pressures there became a key talking point. You're seeing it over in South Korea, where that has become a single major issue. You can see it in France. You're seeing it now in Germany, where it becomes the economy at the center, where a lot of people, despite people saying how things are improving, how things are getting better, where a lot of people simply aren't feeling it. And they are becoming increasingly frustrated with their political leaders' ability to actually translate these claims of things improving into tangible benefits.
Frustration vote is going against the incumbents. A big reason why I think what you're suggesting is not something to sneeze at, Siobhan, is that the issues that COVID brought on affected people's pocketbooks. The economy's shrinking, and you're the young one here. I think it spawned the worst recession in 40 years?
Yes, since the Great Depression.
And as a result of that, the pocketbook issues for people, and it's the governments of the day who are going to be held responsible for that. So you may very well be onto something there. And I heard it was Kristalina Georgieva, the boss of the IMF, talking about as we look towards 2025, low growth is one of those hurdles that the global community might need to overcome. So, the incumbents, it's an uphill task for them.
And I mean, it puts it into perspective that many of the problems we face here in Jamaica are not unique to Jamaica. They're being faced the world around, but it's really hard to exactly. Right? It is really hard to sell that message to someone locally when I don't think they care about the price of bread in China. They care about the price of bread at the corner shop that they visit, and you're going to be very hard pressed to convince them otherwise that they should really say, well, the problem is affecting everyone across the globe. They don't care. Why would they care?
Nah, that's at all. That's no comfort at all for a lot of voters. Yeah, they want you to fix it. That's why you're there. That's all that matters to them.
Well, listeners, time to take your calls. The numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Come chat with us after this little break.
The Watchman. Exploring issues shaping our society, government, and business. Provocative, unconventional. Dr. Henley Morgan is The Watchman.
Good evening. Remembering anti-slavery nonconformist Baptists at Christmas. The church is turned upon itself, as it were, with some holding to the traditions of Christmas and others claiming it is paganism. A spell from hell, according to self-proclaimed purveyor of all things true pertaining to Scripture, Gino Jennings. Amidst the fury, none of which advances the tenets of Christianity, one can reflect on a historical development of significance in our island, led by churchmen, so-called anti-slavery nonconformists from the Baptist faith, who 193 Christmas ago caused a turn in the tide of the affairs of men, borrowing a phrase from William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. Sam Sharp, a Baptist deacon now revered as one of our national heroes, instigated a work stoppage by slaves on Christmas Day, 1831. Their demands fell on deaf ears. On December 27, 1831, the Kensington Estate trash house was set on fire. Located high in the hills of St. James, the fire, which could be seen in the adjoining parishes of Trelawney and Hanover, lit the night sky. It served as a sign that the rebellion that would win for slaves their freedom had begun. Samuel Sharp, who famously said, "I would rather die upon yonder gallows than live in slavery," paid with his life. He was hanged on May 23, 1832, in the square in Montego Bay that today bears his name. Lest we forget, Reverend William Knibb, an Englishman, succeeded in persuading the Baptist Missionary Society to allow him to go to Jamaica. He always thought that slavery was inhumane and should be abolished. However, the Baptist Missionary Society believed they should rely on the goodwill of the slave masters and did not openly support Knibb in the emancipationist movement. At the time of what became known as the Christmas Rebellion in Jamaica, he was arrested and threatened with death by the authorities. An eloquent speaker, William Knibb was nevertheless chosen to go to England as a representative of all the other Jamaican Baptist missionaries, so he could explain what had happened and raise money to rebuild the missions that were burnt out by the militia during the rebellion. He spoke to packed audiences about the evils of slavery every chance he got. He also gave evidence before committees of both houses of Parliament. Eventually, the abolition of slavery bill was passed and the slaves would be freed in the British colonies on August 1, 1834. The slaves were not freed immediately, though, because they had to go through an apprenticeship period of 6 years. Knibb and other supporters were able to reduce this period to 4 years, and slavery was abolished on August 1, 1838. He also stood surety for loans to obtain land, helping to establish free villages where the emancipated slaves could live, work, and raise families. Rather than being embroiled in useless debate about whether Jesus was born on December 25 and about the pagan roots of Christmas celebrations, the church would better spend its time recapturing the true meaning of Christmas by emulating the selfless actions of men like Sam Sharp and William Knibb toward building a more just and equitable society, economy, and nation. Think on these things.
Produced by Agency for Inner City Renewal, AIR, and recorded in the Jamming Studio Trenchtown, a breath of fresh air bringing change to the inner city.
The National Land Agency will distribute titles under its systematic land registration program for residents of St. Catherine from December 16 to 2024 at the Linstead Baptist Church in Linstead, St. Catherine. You will need your government-issued ID to collect your title. For more information, contact the National Land Agency at 876-750-5263 or 876-946-5263. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Welcome back, listeners. As I said, we're taking your calls at 7:36, and the numbers are 630-937-124 and 618-8255. Donald, you're on the line. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I think I'm acquainted with Tyrone's name. I've heard it. I forget years.
It's Siobhan. Good evening.
Siobhan. Okay. Good evening, sir. I am an avid listener, Cliff Hughes Online, and I like to hear when Papa Nana and these guys are on. Okay, I have two concerns. You had Mr. Gordon, is it?
Yes.
Solid waste. I'm annoyed with garbage collection, how it is done in Jamaica. You know, so here is it. The truck comes today and clean the place up. And before the day is done, there's almost the same amount of garbage that's all around. I have a suggestion. I think maybe it's time that, you know, the government do something intentional. Maybe each household could have designated receptacles, you know, and the trucks pick up their garbage. Then, like, as he talked about the marketplace, the question was asked. I see the vendors. They mess the place up when they're selling. They're just saying they're hustling. They're trying to make a food. Why can't each of them have a receptacle beside them? When you go into the market, it's like a pigsty. It can't work. You know, you go to buy and I'm in the St. Elizabeth area, Santa Cruz, but I move around. And it's a shame Saturday evenings or Saturdays and Sundays, after Saturday, you see the places like pigs were playing. And they're selling to make a money. Why can't each vendor have a receptacle beside him or her to dispose their garbage? One more thing on the garbage. I noticed that solid waste, people are disposing of their solid waste now. They're buying new stuff. Sofa, refrigerators, washing machine, all these stuff. And they're driving around in the night with trucks or something and putting them by the side of the road all over. I don't know if you see this stuff or he knows about it, but there are over many places I see this. A lot of solid waste, these things. How are they planning to pick up these stuff? There are a lot of them. Cold cars, settee, fridge, washing machine, you name it.
But Donovan, what you just described doesn't sound like a collection issue. Donald, sorry, that doesn't sound like a collection issue at all. That sounds like just a simple matter of nastiness and irresponsibility.
But there has to be a plan to address it. As he says, when you can't hear, there must be some measures to control it. Solid waste are going out on the street. I drive around, and it's so beautiful when they cut the side of the road, and I just see the cleanness. and I see persons just put back a bag of rubbish, and some persons saying that because they don't have any skip around where they are. That can't be true. Sometimes when my drum is filled at my gate, I put the rest in my car and take it to a skip somewhere else. So if they drove with their garbage somewhere and leave it at the side of the road, that can't work.
I hear you. I hear you, but as I said, that sounds like an enforcement issue. And I mean, if they're doing it in the dead of the night, I don't know how the solid waste people will be able to even do anything about it unless somebody actually catches them, videos them, and sends it off to the authorities.
Catch them in the day too. People are throwing things, as he said, just eat something. They don't even remember that there's a law that says.
I'm aware of it. I'm sometimes surprised by how people just casually discard things on the roadside.
I see it every day.
It's mind-boggling, man.
If a vehicle is driving in front of me and I see they throw from it, I said, man, I can't believe. I blow them sometimes. My other concern quickly is the bikers. I am from Negril, but I live in St. Elizabeth. Why is it that the police and the municipal police and the regular police give so much attention to the taxi drivers and so on when they have excess passengers? And in this country, I heard somebody was talking about, I think it's a morning program, they allow a biker who sometimes doesn't have a license and nobody wears a helmet, and there's a law about that, to take 4 passengers. And I asked a police officer one day, what about this? They can't catch them. And it's going on for years. That is so dangerous, that is so reckless, and they run down taximan. See, it was alleged that somebody lost their life because they run after a taxi. And the bikers are regularly taking 4 passengers, and they shouldn't be taking even 1. That is strange to me. I can't fathom it.
I hear your call on that. That definitely sounds like an issue to be addressed, but I don't know. I know in a lot of parishes, particularly in the West, they do rely on what they call these bike taxis because the terrain makes it difficult for them to operate any other way, but I don't know what the solution there is.
It's sad. There's so many things I have sometimes, but I just listen and like to hear when positive ones come out from others. But those bothers me. I want to see the place clean up. It's terrible, and there must be some enforcement.
And I agree with you, caller, because I've been to Japan and I've seen how that country keeps even some of the most urbanly dense areas clean. And I realize it's not beyond us. And when I come to Jamaica and I realize it's not a matter of collections. It's not a matter of someone needing to enforce anything. It's a matter of individuals not having the understanding and just civic pride and sense of self that you just don't dump things wherever you see it. I've just never understood the phenomenon of somebody just driving along, taking a bottle, just chuck it out the window.
They don't know that away is a place, Siobhan. Away is a literal place where garbage isn't supposed to go. You can't just throw away things. Away is a place.
Just before you go, though, because others may want to come out, but, the point of persons, as he said, persons believe that somebody's coming to pick it up. There are persons who don't see it as a bother, even though there's a law, because they feel that is a job for somebody else. They know that persons are paid to pick it up. So they do it and forget about the little law and forget about any pride. They just do it with that in mind.
I hear you, caller. Thank you for the call. As I said, I definitely share your view on that matter. It should not be beyond us.
From Negril now when I reach the border coming up, and I have to stop to call when I heard him talking. I say a lot of what he's saying, I can't sit through it because they need to. I can't. St. Elizabeth, all over where you need to stop on the byways, laybys, to just take a chill. It's filled with garbage. Everywhere you have a lay-by.
I hear you, caller. Thank you. Thank you again.
All right, have a good one.
Ricky, good evening.
Good evening, Ricky.
Afternoon, man. Good evening, good night. Siobhan, Tyrone, and the listeners.
Bless up, my bro.
I hear you mention earlier about the financial issues and the economy, and kind of alluding is based on COVID. I wouldn't agree with that.
All right.
I think it's the foreign policy of the Western countries causing them problems. You see, those who are in the business right now of trying to destabilize countries, supporting wars, causing wars, it's expensive. If you look at the amount of money they're sending to these wars to continue their wars, but they're still at home.
But you realize, though, Carlo, and not to interrupt you, that this is not a problem just being faced by the West only. No, it's been faced in the East as well. Countries like China, Japan, South Korea, North Korea, they are also facing the same kind of difficult economic situations.
I don't say no, but when you look at the degree at which, for example, America is affected, Germany is affected, the European countries are affected, and you look at why, and look at the sanctions that the U.S. has put out on countries, and they are supporting it. For example, look at Nord Stream.
The Nord Stream pipeline.
Right. When that blew up, Germany could continue getting gas from Russia, from the other pipeline, Nord Stream 2. But no, they keep it off because of U.S. sanctions against Russia for a war that the U.S. pushed to start, right? And then they buy gas from the U.S. now for much higher than they would buy from Russia. Right? And they destroy their own economy and that. And because all the other sanctions that U.S. have around the place and Europe is trying to support. Look at India. India don't follow the sanctions.
I hear you, Carlo. I hear you, Carlo. But I mean, I will question this whole matter about India doing well because they're having their challenges as well. But the thing is, though, you have to set a line in the sand where you're going to be clear that you're not going to support tyranny. And I believe that is where many of the Western countries failed over the last decade or so, that they quietly under the table essentially subsidized many of these dictatorships and many of these tyrannical leaders across the world because they relied on those dictators to provide them with the low-cost goods and low-cost resources that then fueled the Western economies.
But my question to you
and they should have nipped that in the bud a long time ago.
Yeah, but my question to you now is tyrannical like who?
Like Russia and China. I'm not even going to cross China out of the list. Russia, China, and many of those territories in the East.
Now, how is Russia and China tyrannical? Based on what? Because I'm asking you.
Let me ask you this, Carl. Do you think that you could go, that this call that you're currently having with me here now in Jamaica, you could have that in Russia or China? I would get against Putin and Xi Jinping?
Or some other totalitarian states.
I'm not sure about China. That's why I mentioned about Russia. You could have it in Russia.
No, you have multiple protesters being arrested in Russia for just voicing their concerns about the law, about the war.
Well, no, in Britain and US too. You can have a talk in US right now.
I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure in the United States and UK you can call into any program and complain about your government.
But if you look,
but not so sure. So sure that is an accurate assessment.
But you can't complain about Israel, can you? Deal. But what we know, if you look,
I'm sure multiple people complain about Israel in the United States.
Hold on, look at the report. Google it and see which country has arrested and banned more journalists and take away more free speech. No, between Russia and Britain and the US. Look it up. I googled it last week.
Banned and arrested more journalists?
Arrested more journalists, banned more people based on speech of reach for the past 2 years. I took it up.
You mean banned as in refused entry into the country?
No, in terms of not just refusing entry, but have arrested, and because of the fear. They won't say they ban it because of the fear of being constantly arrested and questioned. Some people have now withdrawn. Just look it up. And you see who
Jamaica still has a better freedom of the press record than the US.
So I'm saying for you now that you should Google that, and tomorrow morning or some of that evening, tell me, just let listeners know who is more tyrannical now, if it's Russia or Britain. Is it Germany?
Yeah, but that can be a sole metric, is what I think Siobhan is probably suggesting to you.
There's this funny statement. I believe it was Gorbachev who visited Ronald Reagan, And Ronald Reagan explained to him that you can complain about the U.S. president all you want here in the United States. And Gorbachev quipped, well, you can do that in Russia as well. You can complain about the U.S. president all you want over in Russia as well. so there is that dynamic as you speak. But thank you for the call, caller. I'll have to look into that.
Have a good one.
Carl, good evening. How you doing?
Evening, Trevor. Evening, Tyrone.
Anglia Bango, Magena.
Yeah, what me ask you, see if you can look about two, like how me look about land and Southeast Clarendon here. Look about two visas up there for me. Two British visas, but no want them legal. I don't want no bandul business.
Yeah, you might have to apply and join the line and them thing there.
I mean, only so they have one British visa. I mean, I know how me come by two. Anyhow, Jam, the Auditor General, put out a document which Jam could have called, President Jam could have called the Auditor General and asked him to clarify anything. And when a lot of us tell us that those people are at 98 Old Hope Road working for the PMP to bring down the Jamaica Labour.
I don't think that's the PMP's address though. Their home address is 89 the last time I checked.
89 Old Hope Road. That's what I said.
He said 98.
But to be fair to Jam, Carl, Jam never suggested that the money was missing. Jam just simply said, as they put it, the appropriations accounts were not in hand. That's it. Other people take that spin.
I don't know how you're going to blame Jam for that.
Did you notice the international news carry?
No, but you are missing the point that Siobhan is making, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
The point he's making is that Jam reported the facts and other people have taken the facts and are attempting to twist it.
Mm-hmm.
So the facts are being mangled for political mileage. You can't blame Jam for that.
Okay. I'm going to look at it carefully for myself. Anyhow, Saturday morning also, I was listening to TikTok, man. Ronald Lindos or the RJR. TikTok, them run with every news them get. And Daniel Archer, 7 o'clock news, said the Prime Minister must declare his asset. I never hear such stupidness from somebody who said them a lead. What I think England need to do and America need to do is sooner or later for these money that they are giving them is run an audit into that place. From the next one they did it and find out how all of these money that been coming to them. Where is the documents concerning those money, how they spend?
And you have any basis to think that there's misappropriation of funds? Or are you just doing that because you believe they have not treated with your political party in a manner that you believe to be fair? I'm asking you a simple question, Carl. Do you have any evidence to support your suggestion that there has been misappropriation of funds at the NIA? You can't just come on radio and say anything where you feel like in a car.
I feel like say anything, Tyrone. Nothing wrong with ask for them to check it neither, Tyrone.
Yeah, but all right, Carl,
but that is between Carl, that is between the NIA, their donors, because as I understand it, they're a non-governmental organization. They have their donors and their backers, and they must present a report to said people in terms of what their money has been spent on and give a proper account, just like the government has to give a proper account of the money that they spend on behalf of taxpayers, and that is where the appropriations accounts come in. And it is unfortunate that those have been out of sync with the proper date for the better part of a decade now, going back to 2012. That is not on, Carl. It really shouldn't happen.
Anyhow, before you run, Chevron and Tyrone, look, maybe look about the two visas up for me. Anyhow, there was a disgrace. there was a disgrace going in the parish council down in Clarendon Thursday evening going. Very much disgrace. One decides say because a lady from Enantown swearing him not taking no order from the mayor. No. And the meeting come to Abraham Thursday evening. But what I will, before me even run, I think some of every time you lift up your big finger being pointing out some way. Sometimes your big finger has some way of it pint. And if some of us will just take a look in the mirror and see where our big finger is pointing. What is happening into Southeast Clarendon? And that's where I live. What is happening into Hanover with Yard Hill? That's what I'm asking. People want to run for election and things not look pretty. Things not clean. We have to clean up those people before. See, like how them are asking Andrew documents to clean up, those 2 personal documents must clean up before they can run for election in our country.
All right,
Both of them.
All right, Carl. Enjoy your Christmas, you know. Don't make it all about the politics, man. Go.
No, man. We are done with the politics Thursday, and we till 2025.
So your schedule is in line with nationwide schedule too.
Yeah, man. We gone off Thursday, man. Thursday we happy and make because as you know, the economy has grown, and we have to make some solid money out of the Christmas.
So you go down to Clarendon, Carl.
At Clarendon, I live now, chef.
All right, I can come visit you now when I'm down by my grandmother. Yeah,
somebody show me where. But me I look for one piece of land.
Can I create a Malta from him for me, this one?
That's no problem, no, man. The economy has grown, man.
All right, Carl. Have a good evening, man. Enjoy your Christmas.
A 5-year car Tyrone saying 5-year car land now.
That is one thing my family has been blessed with in the car land. My grandfather have a nice little farmland and do good for himself.
Look, I've never gone PHS, everyone.
All right, sir.
All right, take it easy.
Well, Tyrone, tell me, will you be coming down for Christmas or are you staying?
No, not for the holidays.
Dear.
Hopefully we'll our feet will be back on the rock soon, God willing.
I see news commentator asking, is Grandma Siobhan going to slave out to the cook? No. My grandmother,
chef, folks.
My grandmother, when she get around the pot, that is her day. She don't want anybody interrupt her. She want to make sure the curry goat cook proper. She want to make sure the chicken bake good. She make sure the manish water cook right. Everything is set, and she make sure everything is apportioned to everybody proper and ready. It is a funny thing, there's one thing I always hate on Christmas Day is when I see my grandfather's big hell of a bowl, that him get him food, everybody will get a little paper plate. I said, oh, things so unfair.
What do you mean unfair? The man earned that, bro. That's earned. Yeah? Don't get it twisted.
I want to be the one to get that bowl. And every time I go to see that, I want to be the one to get that bowl.
As the patriarch of your family, he has earned it, Siobhan. What do you mean unfair? I don't understand you. Have you put in the man hours that he has?
No, sir. Bless that man's heart.
Absolutely. Man has earned his take, man. Let me tell you, for the ladies who out there, single ladies, Siobhan is a husband that cooks. So I put in that plug out there for him,
But that man put 7 children through school and college, and I said that is an achievement.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Well, it is 7:58, listeners. I'm going to be wrapping up now. Thank you to all of our callers or YouTubers and WhatsApps. New commentator J.A., Marcia Favor, Marigold Weber. Always lovely to see you. Ken Youth, Mullings, Oren, Cindy Lynn, Sharon Forbes. All of you, thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you to our super producer Dana Davey, our technical operator back on the job, Andrew Glenn the Bugs Anderson, and all of my friends and compatriots in the news and production department led by the capable Cara Powell. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Tyrone Reed. Good evening.
Tis the season to be jolly here at Creative Building Finishes. Deck your halls with our porcelain, ceramic, mosaics, natural stone, and luxury vinyl tiles. This holiday season,